He was always so good.
Pretty blunt.
Place in heaven yet.
Oh, no, that's not.
Yes. When we were talking spring. Oh, we don't know. We don't have an agreement. We're handling. Good. And then what? There's one more though too.
Well, I knew we were in the process of redoing the water,
Wilkinson.
Shirley.
So we know. But Wilkinson? Nothing. Local. So Spring Lake, we need it. Shirley, and there's no one else?
Say, yeah, because Wilkinson chooses to govern everything
Yeah.
himself.
At you, it'll like.
My glasses on.
Go to the podium.
Good evening. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, the July 24th meeting of the Hancock County Board of Zoning Appeals. I'd like to advise everybody that your testimony this evening is recorded, taken under oath. Anybody wishing to speak will do so only when called upon, and face our attorney to my left to be sworn in. Also like to advise you that we are being recorded now, both audio and video recording per the current new state statutes. All persons speaking will be asked to give their full name for the record, spell your last name so that the meeting minutes are accurate. Please turn off all cell phones, electronic devices, any noise-making devices. The order of those speaking this evening is we'll have the petitioner following our staff report. We'll have the petitioner for 7 minutes making their presentation, and then we give a collective 7 minutes for any remonstrators to speak. Any government officials wishing to speak get 3, and then we issue 3 for the rebuttal of the petitioner. Our attorney will be giving 2-minute and 1-minute warnings as your time is expiring. We'll ask that all persons conduct themselves in a civil manner, and if we can't do that, we'll request that you please leave the room. The first order of business this evening will be the adoption of the previous month's meeting minutes that were submitted electronically. Do I have a motion? Who was here?
Make a motion we adopt last month's minute. month's minutes.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adopt last month's meeting minutes. All those that were in attendance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I will abstain.
Right. And with that, we have 5-member board. We currently have 1 vacancy, so by theory, we have a full board this evening. Any action will require 3 votes, 3 like votes, to have a decision rendered this evening. So if you don't like those odds, you're welcome to request a continuance, and we will grant that based on those grounds. With that, I will turn it over to Ms. Maria for our first hearing item. Marcelletti, Verizon. Special exception to allow a new communication tower and a variance to reduce the required 500-foot setback.
Good afternoon. The first item on the agenda is the Verizon cell towers special exception and variance request. This was continued last month due to the number of letters and the board deciding that they needed more time to be able to process all the materials of the letters that were submitted. I will let the board decide whether they want me to go into full detail of the staff report or if they want me to highlight the main points of it, since this was continued from previous month.
We probably ought to do the full staff report since, for Lacey's benefit, I think. Yeah.
So in our standards, in our specifically in our land use matrix, any cell tower in any of the zoning districts require a special exception. Therefore, they are here today requesting that. On the second page of the staff report, this shows the site plan of the proposed cell tower, and also showcasing some of the proposed landscaping as well. So any new application for a new tower shall follow the listed items in our standards, and to the best of the ability of our department, we determined that this has all been met. Some of the items are engineer report, letter of intent, proof of compliance, things of that nature is what is required for a tower. There's also design requirements that all telecommunications facilities shall meet. Some of those are lighting standards, the tower height, and also conceptual design. Site requirements are also mentioned in our standards. All telecommunications facilities shall meet the following requirements. No tower shall be placed closer than 500 feet to any property, including residential zoning district. This is a section where one of the variances is being asked for. This is another image of the site. Some additional standards include fencing, landscape screening, there are also construction requirements in this section for telecommunication, as well as landscape standards. And new landscape plan has been submitted that address all the concerns that the planning department had in the original application. And as mentioned, they are requesting a special exception. And with that, we are recommending approval with the following condition: that the ILP application goes to Tech Committee to ensure compliance with Hancock County ordinance. As additionally, with working with Purdue Extension to find substitution for burning bush as shown at the landscape plan. The first variance is the petitioner is wanting to lessen the design requirement of camouflaging. We are recommending approval for that. And the second variance is to reduce the setback requirement of 500 feet from residence to 249 feet. And with this one, the staff is recommending denial on the request to reduce 500-foot setback for telecommunication to 249 feet. The staff has determined that there isn't no unique hardship that has demonstrated and that this would reduce significantly and undermine the intent of the zoning code.
Got any questions for the staff?
Maria, it says the petitioner is requesting a reduction in the.
Yeah, I just noticed that for some reason it.
What else is that supposed to say?
That they are reducing the required 500 feet setback from the residence to 249.
Reducing the 500-foot setback requirement from the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. So we have two variance ballots here, so you might want to write setback on one and camouflage on the other, so that we know which is which.
Can I ask the practical impact if the setback is not approved? What do we?
Well, we'll need to take action on the special exception first, and then the two variances after that. If the setback is not, or your question is if the setback variance is not approved?
Right. What's the practical application? Yeah, I mean, there's no other layout that we can that's able to be considered?
Well, they would just have to meet the 500 feet, I think, right? And then just submit a new site plan to when they go to get the ILP.
Okay, so practically it's able to be done without the setback. It was a preference, not a necessity.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant parcel, so yeah.
Okay, and I saw in the minutes from last time there's a question about feet or meters. It's feet, right?
It's feet.
It's feet. Okay. Any more questions? No?
I will turn it over to the petitioner.
All right. We have somebody with the, oh, there he is, Mr. Brown.
Swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name.
Yeah, my name is Russell Brown, last name B-R-O-W-N. I'm an attorney with Clark Quinn Law Firm. With me tonight also is Joe Sikos from our office and John Marcelletti, who is the site acquisition for this parcel. So this is a petitioner of Horvath Communications and Verizon Wireless. Horvath is a regional tower builder and operator, will be the operator of this site. Verizon is confirmed as the anchor tenant, the top tenant on this site. And as mentioned, we do have 3 requests before you tonight. This site is in the northwest corner of 200 South and 600 West. It's located on a parcel approximately 125 acres in size that's owned by members of the Schramm family. The location of the property was chosen by the owners in consultation with the petitioners. The location was chosen to decrease disruption to the ag operations occurring on site and to visually shield the base of the tower from as many surrounding properties as possible. I think this is an incredibly important point tonight. The variance from the setback from the residential use is most impactful to the owners. The people who chose the site, proposed this site, they are the most impacted by this proposed variance. These are the same individuals who helped choose the location. The tower is not located within 500 feet of any residential structure owned by a third party. So there is one structure located within 500 feet, and that is of the property owners who chose that location. The tower's design here is a monopole design. It's 135 feet in overall height, 125 foot plus a 10-foot arrestor. Verizon is the center line of 120 feet. At this height and this location, there is no required lighting. As mentioned, it's located behind the barn in an existing tree line to shield the base from 200 South and from 600 West. This is important as well. Any other location, which is 500 feet from a residential structure on this property, will be more visually impactful to surrounding property owners because it will be in the middle of an agricultural field. It will have no base shielding. We can put it in the middle of a field with no base shielding, meet your 500-foot requirement. We think this is a much better location. It is much more in line with the intent of the ordinance and much less impactful to the community at large. One more point I'll bring up on tower design. In the file is a fall zone letter from an Indiana licensed engineer, which indicates that this tower will be designed to have a 0 fall radius, meaning it will collapse upon itself. This eliminates any risk from tower failure based on this reduced setback to the residential and agricultural structures located on the parent parcel. This slide shows the search ring for this site and the towers within 2 miles. The search ring here is relatively small. It's in the bottom right-hand corner picture. The selected property here is the largest property within the search ring, and within the search ring, the existing improvements in natural shielding allow this location to have the least impact on surrounding properties while meeting the coverage objectives of Verizon Wireless. These propagation maps show the before and after where coverage of Verizon Wireless customers will be improved by the construction of this tower. In the file is a letter from Verizon Wireless's RF engineer, which indicates that there is no existing tower in the area which meets the coverage objectives. This affidavit is in compliance with Indiana code in relationship to why co-location was not pursued at this location. I have 3 photo simulations here that provide some example or some showing of how we believe from the west, south, and east that this shows what's described. That the nearest residential areas, the utilizing of the trees along this stretch will largely shield the base of this tower, more so than a location which is in compliance with the 500-foot setback from the residential structure on the parent parcel. This picture here is new from last month. This shows a significant amount of overhead above-grade utility infrastructure located in the nearby vicinity. Wireless communications facilities are just that, above-ground utility infrastructure, which is not contemplated in comp plans, but is necessary and expected in modern society in all zoning districts. As mentioned, we do have a revised site plan that we believe meets the intent. I believe staff has confirmed that it meets the intent of the ordinance. Talk briefly about staff's comments regarding precedent and the failure to show compliant locations were not exhausted here. First, as you know, under Indiana law, variances are not precedential. As a practitioner, I wish they were. I wish I could come in and say, you granted this before and you got to grant it to me, but that's not how it works.
2 minutes.
The interpretation of the setback from residential districts here has been interpreted to be from a structure and not from a district. And as I've previously mentioned, the only structure within that is on the parent parcel. We believe that they helped choose the location, and were a different location to be chosen that complied with the ordinance, it would be more visually impactful to the community. Staff report also provides that compliant locations were not pursued. We respectfully disagree. We did do that and determined that putting it in the middle of an agricultural field is not in the best interest of the community at large. Verizon, I'll point one other thing out. Verizon does not have the ability to force a landowner to lease space for a wireless communications facility. So we are looking for a location where we have a willing landowner that meets our coverage objectives and most closely complies with the ordinance's intent. We believe what's before you tonight does just that. I'll wrap up by, we do have a letter in the file that we provided that attempts to address many of the concerns raised by remonstrators at last month's hearing related to health issues and property values. We would incorporate that into the record. Before you tonight is a special exception which is ready for your approval, as well as 2 variances. We have submitted findings of fact and supporting materials for these requests, which we'd incorporate into the record, and ask for your favorable vote tonight. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Any questions? I was curious, what is your take on, started to hint at it a little bit, but it's 500 feet from a residential structure, and you've demonstrated by your exhibit that you exceed that with this location. But if you drew that circle around there, 500 feet, you would impact the neighbor's property to the south of 200 South, correct? That would hinder their ability to get a building permit, perhaps?
Let me back up and say it's 541 feet to the nearest structure that's not located on our property.
Right.
So I don't know of any imposition or thing that would preclude someone from making improvements on their own property because they're located within 500 foot of a tower. Further, the fact that we've submitted a fall zone letter that indicates that this will have a 0 fall radius collapse upon itself means that it will not have any impact, on any surrounding structure, let alone something that's more than 500 feet away. It's also only a 125 foot tower. So even if it did fall like a pencil, which it will not do, it would not fall outside of this property owner's parcel. So that reduced setback from our perspective has no impact on surrounding property owners because the ordinance, as mentioned, has a little bit of internal contradiction, whether it's to the district or whether it's to a structure. Even most liberally applied as being to a structure, the only structure that falls within that is on our parcel.
Okay, so in your letter under the property value concerns, do you have any evidence that it does not affect the property values of the properties to the south, or that it enhances or degrades? Or
I can tell you that the Pew indicates that high-speed wireless is a major factor in determining property values and choice of homes. I can tell you that there's about between 20 and 30% of Americans who get their high-speed internet through their wireless provider. So the absence of high-speed internet through their wireless provider, we think is a negative to the ability to sell homes. I can tell you that we have had experts stand in front of boards like yourself over the years that provide a longitudinal study that say before a tower, after a tower, what does that do to property values in Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, and never found there to be a difference pre-construction and post-construction of that.
Okay. Any more questions for the petitioner? No? All right, thank you. All right, so we have 7 minutes for remonstration. It's collective. So how many people do we have that would like to speak this evening? 2? Just 2? A lot of people here for 2. All right, you each get 3.5. Who'd like?
Others got a third over there.
A third one, okay. All right, okay. So we'll divide up the 7 minutes. So I think, yeah, your hand came up first, so come on up. And then just be mindful. Do you want to maybe give him a 3-minute warning or something that he's inching up on other people's time?
Swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
State your name, spell your last name.
Jason Richard Fox, FOX. Hi, I submitted a lot of information last month, and with the allotted time, I don't really have time to go over all of it. Now, while I appreciate Verizon's attention to detail on the visual aspect of it, I'm here for the health concerns. My mom lives across the street. You know, our property is 677 feet from the thing, and I'm not worried about, although there are housing and urban development studies from 2004 that show that there could be property value drops up to 9 to 21% within 1,000 feet of these types of towers. Now, that's a 2004 study. I don't have anything more updated than that, but it doesn't sound like they do either. So I've got to go by the most recent study I've got. But what I do have are studies that I submitted to the board and the paperwork that I turned in about studies from even European countries and even our own country about the health effects. I'm worried about the unseen. These things pump out a ton of radiation. You can't block that. They just can't. The most recent study that I got from, sorry, my papers are everywhere. I was trying to jump around. The most recent studies I've got show that within a distance of 1,312 feet from a German study from as recent as 2022. So in one of their rebuttals, which I submitted the rebuttal and I was kind of counteracting the rebuttal, is that they tell us that the RF, the American Cancer Society, shows that this type of radiation is safe, but there's been multiple studies. That study is very old. If off the top of my head, I believe it's from 1996. And then they also said we can't, in their rebuttal, worry about what European countries are doing. Well, yes, I can. They have more updated studies. Science grows. Science gets better. Science tells us. I mean, I've been a pharmacist for almost 20 years. I can tell you case in case that large companies have told us things are safe. And then we find out years later they're not. Most recently, the food dyes. We're finding out that those red dyes that they've been putting in our food supply forever have not been safe. I do not want to be the guinea pig for my family that says, oh yeah, that type of radiation caused cancer throughout your whole family. No, I don't. And if I'm going to go by studies that are more strict in other countries, yes, until they show me site-specific data that shows that this site will not affect my family when it comes to RF radiation. So when they can show me that and I can evaluate it, then I'll be more on board for it. In addition to that, in their rebuttal, they also talked about how these types of towers are found in high-density areas, hospitals, schools, cities. Okay, keep them there. You know, if we look at the map that he just with the red and orange and yellow, that shows you how much radiation is being added to the area. The propagation map he just showed, that's right across the street from my house. I don't want it. So I'm asking the board to consider the health and safety of my family, the community, meet standards that are being found with scientific data. I don't care if they're in another country. You know, the scientific data is not country specific.
Time.
So let's go by that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who else did we have? We had somebody else over on the right side. Yeah, come on up, sir. Either one.
If you want to go first, and I've spoken before at the last meeting, so if you want to go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
I pull the microphone down a little bit.
Yeah, thanks.
Where you in?
Okay, thank you.
I'll swear
right.
you in. Raise your right hand, please.
So may I ask, what jurisdiction are we in, ma'am? What are we moving by? Statutes or the common law? Please.
Combination of both.
I'm sorry?
A combination of both. But can I swear you in?
The reason why I bring this forward to the board is that as far as
I need to swear you in before
We
you
can't
can
hear
proceed.
your without a swearing in.
Yeah,
We have to have you
our
swear.
rules and procedures require
So
it to be
this-
sworn in, and if we take your testimony and listen to your testimony, we can't.
you actually have my testimony. My name is Jill Jones.
Can I swear you
and
in, please?
Actually, this is not a real court, but if we can get beyond that, this is entirely statutory. And so what I want to bring forward is the common law for the people. If I'm to
You're out of
swear, I
order.
will swear in an affidavit.
You're out
Yeah.
of order.
Ma'am, yeah.
Why?
Unfortunately,
Why is that?
we have rules and procedures for our board.
Court.
You have to address us, actually, as another one of our,
It's administrative, okay? And so this is my first time here, but I have a real problem because I see no judge. And where is the 12 jury members? This is entirely statutory. And so as far as the notice that was given, there was a cease and desist by the people.
Rhonda,
And that means
should
to
we exit?
stop
We can't hear this
and
testimony.
not
We can
resume
exit,
action
and we can
I'm
on the
afraid.
cell
We can
tower.
exit.
I'm afraid we may just have to leave. We can't listen to this. Unfortunately,
Right, and here's the thing, you are not
Isn't the
elected
committee
officials.
adjourned for now?
And ma'am,
Step out.
private bar, you're with a
Call the
private
sheriff.
association, correct? You're not government,
got
correct?
a motion to adjourn momentarily while this is, motion to,
Recess, excuse me, yes, motion to recess, please.
all right, moved and seconded to recess, all in favor, commissioners. So unfortunately, I apologize that that had to happen and it slowed your meeting down this evening.
Maybe just a motion to reconvene from recess?
We do need that, yes.
I make a motion that we reconvene.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded to reconvene, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. So
We were in the middle of remonstrators,
Yep.
and we had 3 minutes down, so we have 4 minutes left
minutes
for any
left.
other remonstrators.
Yeah, so, sir, did you want to still speak?
Is it possible to relinquish my time to Mr. Fox?
Yeah.
Choose to.
Sure, yeah.
We have 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah.
Just,
Didn't really
I'm
have
sorry,
much.
before you stop, does anybody else want any time? Everybody's good, okay, thank you, sir.
Just didn't want that to be how this ended on my concern, okay? I don't want what happened just there to overshadow the health concerns that I have with this board or with anybody else in the room. Like, the tip, whatever's going on with that or whatever, I have no idea about that. I'm concerned about the health data that I presented to the board and you know, the property values. And I do appreciate Verizon looking into like trying to hide the tower. That's great. But block the RF radiation, we're good. And they can't do that, and nobody can. And one of the things that they put in their rebuttal that I didn't get to that I did want to say is that they said you get more use or more RF or more radiation from like your microwaves, your cell phones and stuff like that. And while that might be accurate, I haven't researched that. I'm not sitting next to my microwave all day, every day with it pumping radiation out at me. This is a continuous use thing that's continually pumping out these frequencies, these microwaves, whatever other frequencies they're pumping out, whereas my microwave turns off usually after I heat up my dinner. So that's all I wanted to say. Appreciate it.
Could I ask you a question? Me?
Oh, sorry.
You don't know where to look anymore, do you? So you mentioned, you cited some data on property values. Could you remind me what that was or what your source was for that?
It was a 2004 report from the Housing of Urban Development. I submitted it, I believe, in the original paperwork that I turned in last month, but remember there was that
You
deal where it
did. You
didn't
had a
quite get there.
bibliography. Yeah.
It cited the sources with that on that, but it said anywhere between a 9 to 21% reduction in property value costs with when they're within 1,000 feet. I mean, even pushing it back to 1,000 feet, there's still that property value. And again, I haven't found any more current data than that. So I doubt that they have it. If they do, I would love some more data to look into that to say if it's going to affect my property value or not. And then you brought up a good point when you were talking to the gentleman is if I want to build any further structures and I find out down the road that there's some ordinance, or I forget the exact term that you use, that prevents me from building a structure because this was allowed, boy, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, I don't know that that's
No, I don't
specifically
either.
the
That's what
case, you know, but
it's something to consider, though,
it
right?
is. It is in some cases, you know, with like,
Sure.
you know, like confined feeding or whatever. But
it wasn't even on my radar for that. But I mean, it could be, it could not be. And so
Yeah.
that's just there's all these variables. But the big one is my health concern.
yeah, and I read your stuff actually a couple of times, and it was just interesting. But there just doesn't seem to be much data in the U.S. It's Europe, Canada, but the U.S. just seems to be.
And it's complete conjecture on my part, but I wonder who, you know, again, this is just complete conjecture from my experience in the pharmaceutical industry. I compare them with any big corporation, is those big studies are generally paid for by companies when they know the results that they want to get. Now, maybe that is not the case. Maybe it is the case. Maybe there's a reason that those studies, it's awful interesting that we're not having studies and we're relying on these studies that are extremely old, 20, 30 plus years, Was it a 2019 study?
It says people pay on average.
Just a minute.
Yeah, you're out of, yeah, unfortunately.
But
Yeah.
we can swear you in if you would like to come up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, thanks. You're done? How much time do we have?
Let me check. Say, because I'm not, I cleared my phone, but you had about 2.5 minutes.
About two.
Yeah, 2.5. Okay.
Yeah. So please raise that mic up to your mouth a little closer, and then, yeah, thank you. And then,
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. John Sweezy, last name Sweezy, and we're relying on a 2004 study while there is a 2019 study by the Wireless Equity Group, and they say that there is a general decrease in property values within 1,000 feet of one of these by about 7.6%. So that will be something that you need to weigh when you're looking at it. You can find that at wirelessequity.com. And it's how cell towers impact property values. You'll potentially want to look into that before you make a decision. Thank you.
all right. Do we have any government officials who would like to speak this evening?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Name is Joseph Scott Wooldridge, Woldridge. I spoke up last time, same thing. I think it should be 500 feet. And then I heard your comments, and I think you're right. I think there is a concern because I'm wondering if the Borgman property, which is right across the street, is within 500 feet from that where they're drawing the cell tower. And that would obviously cause a big, substantial change in what they can do with it. Let alone, I think you're right. I think you have to look at how the planning department works and how we are. And when you put that cell tower in, it's going to mean, even if that one house exempts themselves, it's going to mean 500 feet all around. It's not, so then that's going to have to stay a farm field pretty much, I would guess, forever, or turn into woods or something. So, I mean, it is something to consider. I still stand by, I think 500 feet's in the best interest. It's the health concerns that people have. I think that's what was set when we did the ordinances. I think it's probably the reasoning behind it. That'd be my guess. That'd be what I would vote for if I was the commissioner and considering it. So, but that's it. Thanks. Unless you have questions.
Any other government officials here that'd like to speak this evening? All right, the petitioner has a 3-minute rebuttal period.
Great, thank you. And I had something new in my career. I'd never had that before this evening either.
Neither have I. Unfortunately, I apologize that happened in the middle of your petition.
Not your doing. Yeah. I'll start by a couple things. One is obviously you have a letter in the file that we would stand by a position that health issues are not permitted for consideration and that your consideration of them subjects any decision made by this board to be overturned judicially. The setback to the remonstrator's home exceeds the setback that's required by your ordinance. We have a 385-foot setback to the nearest property, to the nearest residential property line. We have more than 540 feet to the nearest residential structure not contained on this property. I would also state that there's not a prohibition of building a new structure within 500 feet. The prohibition is a cell tower cannot be located within a residential structure. So there is no safe zone, there is no dead zone around this that would be occur by you granting this special exception and variances this evening. Also, as provided in our letter, case law is very clear that in order for property values to be considered by this board as a reason to deny a wireless communication facility, it needs to be particular to this location. Not generalized concerns, not concerns from a 2014, 2019, 2004, 2025 study. unless it pertains to this location, it is generalized property value concerns are insufficient reason to support a denial by this board. There was some mention about who pays for the studies. I can tell you that Wireless Equity is very clearly an anti-cell tower group, and that is not saying that that besmirches or eliminates the validity of their study, but who pays for it, who posts it is certainly something for you to consider. I will also just point out that this is not a prohibited use in this zoning classification. It is permitted, provided that it meets all of the other requirements. We meet all but two of those. One is the setback to residential structure. The other is camouflaging.
1 minute.
And simply, we believe that a short tower, buffered as it is from surrounding uses, meets the intent of that, and staff is supportive of that request. So we believe that this stands ready for your review and approval tonight, and would respectfully request your vote in favor of it.
I just have maybe a follow-up question. In staff recommendation, there is an approval with conditions as recommended for the special exception for a technical committee review, as well as working with Purdue Extension. Have we confirmed that you are open?
Yeah,
and
we're okay with those
okay.
conditions.
Any other traditional conditions that need to carry that you should go with?
If I could add, I could volunteer and add one, and that is that we would be bound by the no-fall zone letter that's included, that design would be a requirement of it.
Rhonda, any other typical special exception conditions that we should consider for this?
I can think of, other than what staff's recommended.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any discussion on conditions, general discussion amongst the board?
Procedurally, you're handling them one by one?
I think that would be best in this instance.
Yeah, I think we need to do the special exception first, and then we could do the variances together if you wanted to vote on those together.
So I'll make a motion that should the special exception be approved, staff recommendations as consented by the applicant will carry, and there will be a new number 2, incorporating the no-fall zone letter as recommended by petition.
Second.
And that was for the special exception.
That's the way it's reflected.
Yeah. Okay,
in
got
the
it. Okay.
documentation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that should the special exception be granted, it be subject to the stated conditions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So please do your special exception ballot first. We'll count those, and then we'll move to the variances.
I was thinking, stuff from last month.
Okay, the special exception for case number 25-2590 is granted, a vote of 4-0.
Okay, now we'll move on to our ballots for the two variances. And like I've said before, let's mark camouflaging on one and setback on the other for the count.
Okay, for the variance on the setback in case number 25-2590, the variance is denied. Vote of 4-0. And variance number 25-2590 for the camouflage is a tie, 2 granted, 2 denied. The denied would be Long and Fawcett.
So that one continues.
Yeah, so that would mean that variance would continue if you want to come back next month with that. Sure, yeah.
Notice you listed a vacancy on your board. Is that still the case? You still have a vacancy, or has that been filled?
I don't have a good answer. My understanding is that that's a board or commissioner's appointment. They intend to appoint that person on the 29th, I believe. So that person should be in service like a fire, and should be here next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just stay in contact with staff then about whether or not to come back. It's the same 4 members. It feels silly to not to come
Okay.
back.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry that took so long. Item number 2, Gold Mine Holdings.
Mr. President?
Yes.
By the fact that there's a vacancy, apparently you said that a continuance would be granted, and I'd like to request that before anybody has to wait longer.
Okay. Yeah, so just so you guys, I should have asked you guys before I said that, but because of the abbreviated board and folks wanting, a 5-member vote, I had said, and I think I talked with Kayla about it too, that we have in the past granted those, and I think that we could continue to do that in this case, and just.
Yeah, and we offered it at the beginning of the meeting too, which
Yeah.
like I said, I know you were late, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, so if,
For just the gold mine, and it would be.
No, I'm not here for gold
No.
mine. I'm sorry. I'm trying
Oh.
to save time.
Oh.
I'm here for Mega Farm.
Mega
My
Farms.
apologies.
Oh.
But the last time
Let
it
me
was
clarify.
continued, I didn't get a chance to state that until we were called, and there were some people that were upset about that. So they still may be upset, but hopefully not as upset.
Okay.
Since we're trying to get out
okay.
early.
So item number 3, Gold Mine, or
Question.
item number 3,
Mega.
Mega Farm.
Should-
Okay.
Yeah, if we're going to move on the agenda, we should we just, for all procedures, swear in and consent for that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead with item number 2, and then we'll, just for the, following the process, we'll just vote on that continuance
I'm fine
on
with
3.
that. My
Yeah,
request simply,
Yeah.
if I could have stated at the outset, I
Yeah.
would have, because if there are people here.
Yeah.
For consistency, just usually swearing in to address the board is necessary? Yes, thank you.
Under the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, the truth.
I do. My name is Brian House, partner with Pritzky and Davis. I respectfully request a continuance of item number 3 because of an incomplete board. Thank you.
okay, thank you. All right, let's move back to item number 2, Gold Mine Holdings.
So item number 2, Gold Mine Holdings is requesting one standard under our non-residential sign standard. The address of the subject property is 3097 North 600 West in Greenfield. This is located in the Buck Creek Township. It is located within the Commercial Neighborhood Zoning District. And the proposed signage exceeds the permitted height of 6 feet. They're proposing a 7.5 feet sign in height, and it also exceeds the 32 square feet that is permitted, and they're requesting 48 square feet.
Can I ask before, since it was requested to be continued due to the full board to be present, and we don't have that now?
Not this case, it's the megaform. So the
Well, we
item of
continued
3.
last month
Right.
because of the full board.
sorry.
Yeah.
Have we asked before we
Well,
go
we asked
in?
at the beginning, but I'll ask again. Who is the petitioner? You're good to continue?
Okay,
Are you the petitioner?
somebody else to show up tonight that
Are
move forward.
you okay? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
The petitioner submitted a statement of intent. The petitioner is requesting to install a monument sign that is 7.5 feet tall with a square footage of 48. The allowable height is 6 feet tall with a square footage of 32 square feet. The sign is being placed from the intersection, and increased size will allow the visibility to be greater for the distance, and landscape will be provided. So this is the site plan the petitioner provided. Circled in red is the location of the proposed sign, as well as the setbacks of the sign. Currently on the site, this is open space. There's nothing necessarily limiting visibility for this sign. And in the future, there will be some landscaping installed, but even then, this wouldn't adversely affect the visibility of this sign being proposed at this location. This is just an image depicting the proposed signage that the petitioner is asking the variance for. And the applicable standards are general sign standard. It talks about the intent of these signs and some general sign standards that are applicable throughout all of the zoning districts. I also like to mention that they also have the option of to be able to install a wall sign as well. In our provision, in our standards, wall sign is permitted for them on their facade closest to where this proposed monument sign is being proposed. Non-residential sign standards are also applicable, and they are asking a variance under the commercial neighborhood zoning district for the sign for ground floor use. Number 6, ground and monument sign, 1 ground sign is permitted, not exceeding the square footage of 32 feet and not exceeding the height of 6. The decision criteria, general welfare, adjacent properties, as well as practical difficulty. In the staff recommendation, we are providing 2 potential options for our recommendation. One is approval as presented with the following conditions: that landscaping is installed around the sign base as shown in the plans. The other condition is the elimination of the white background around the BP logo shall not be permitted to mitigate the potential of hazards associated with excessive brightness during the nighttime. The other option the board can take into consideration is a recommendation of denial due to the application not demonstrating a unique condition or hardship. The desire to increase sign visibility does not itself constitute a hardship, especially with not having anything that is covering the sign for visibility. Are there any questions?
I have one question. This is 600, and there's an overlay district, there's regional. Notice went out to all those parties and they had nothing to say?
We did receive a letter of support from the church that's next to it.
Okay.
That should be in your photos as well.
But nothing with the overlay district?
Nothing against it, just that letter of support.
And they were noticed, or it's just the default notice program that we have, Rhonda?
Say that again.
I apologize, but I forget the name. It's the regional, neighborhood group, all those that receive notice of these types of areas, just because it's in kind of the overlay district.
I don't think that group was ever actually officially created, but everybody that wants notice can sign up for notice, so all of that notice would have went out.
Okay, and there's no statements from them?
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Okay.
I had another question. I think I clarified with Kayla earlier, but I just wanted for everybody, the height, and I think you said it in here actually even, the height is
7.5
starts
feet.
at the grade of the right-of-way, the nearest right-of-way, right? So it's 6 feet, 7 feet variance from the grade of the adjacent right-of-way.
I believe so.
That's correct, okay.
I've never seen it before where you had option 1 and option 2. Are you recommending denial, but if approved, then you would go with option 1?
We recommended, because, let me see here.
That was going to be kind of my question. Reading through the notes, I'm kind of, what is staff recommending?
What is staff, you're right, my question too.
So staff is recommending denial, but in the case that the board decides to approve it, we would like these conditions to be put in place.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you. Is there somebody here, the petitioner? Yes.
Okay, got to let the petitioner speak.
Yes. There you go.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name.
Cindy Thrasher, Thrasher. I'm here to represent the owner of this property, and like staff said, we were asking for a variance to allow for the difference in the height of the allowed to be 7 feet tall, and then also the 48 square feet versus the 32 due to the location, the speed of the traffic. The owner thought that being a little larger would make the sign more visible because he did push it all the way to the end of the property. So it's approximately 400 feet from that main intersection. And then he did push it back some towards the building, so it wasn't right out at the intersection. As far as the options that the staff had also recommended, they're more than willing to do any landscaping that is necessary. And then they also said, I didn't know if this was an option or not, we've had it before, where they had asked that not be lit, if it is possible for them to turn it off at night. So it would be lit during the day, but no lighting at night, since that was a concern. Because we have had that in other areas, that's how they handled that issue.
Okay. I'm just always a little confused. I mean, it's not the grand scheme of things, but it's not that much bigger than
Yeah, they just wanted a little larger. They didn't want to make the variance, extremely large. They just wanted a small deviation just to make it. They thought, because some of the other area signs are really large, but of course they've been there for a while, so they just wanted it to be a little larger than what was allowed and not ask for, because in the beginning they wanted a really big one, but then after talking to staff and they were saying that they didn't want to approve that, he decided to go down and make it smaller, but it was still a little larger.
Okay. Okay.
Picture the layout where it's showing on.
Is there current signage now, and this will replace it, or there's no signage now?
No, there is not any signage.
Nothing's been placed, okay. And this was not handled in the original design application? I mean, that would've been-
I don't know. I just got involved when the sign company got hired to put the post, that monument sign out.
Okay, and by right, it's just, I mean, it's not that big of a difference. And it would be in the same location by right? This is where you'd put it if in what's outlined in the
Yes.
designs? Okay, all right.
All right, any more questions for the petitioner? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do we have anybody who'd like to speak in opposition to this sign? 2? All right, we've got 7 minutes, split it between you. I think Larry's hand went up first. Mad rush.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Larry Sedam, S-E-D-A-M. For the records, there is a sign out lit in the front if you drive by. So the excuse that people will be driving by too fast, that's right at the roundabout at 300 and 600, correct? I don't know about you, but you shouldn't be going faster than 15, 20 miles in that roundabout, so I don't know how you're going to miss that sign if it's normal. The big key is this is a Mount Comfort corridor. We keep fighting and fighting and fighting for it to remain in compliance. Stay in compliance. It's not that big of a difference. Stay in compliance. We fought this down the road. Some of the warehouses wanted monster signs. We fought it. We won. Keep the corridor the way it's supposed to be. That's why we spent all that money on that study. That's why we should keep it the way it is. I know 38 to 46, whatever it is, it's not that big a deal. It is when you keep changing this corridor or keep changing the rules for this corridor. Keep it the same as what we're asking. Again, if you're going around the roundabout so fast that you can't see the sign, that's not right anymore.
Not safe. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Larry.
I have a question for you.
Oh, come on back. Question time.
Oh, someone's got a question for me.
There's a sign out there already?
There is a sign out there, and it is lit.
Where is it?
It's on the south west corner, I think, right?
It's on 600. It's lit. It's like on post.
It's the temporary sign?
It's the temporary sign. Yeah. So it does have a sign almost identical to one of the ones that you see there, except it's not in concrete. And it's probably sitting a little closer to where the road is instead of further back by the church. So, yes. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Come on up, sir.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Gary Borgman. Borgman is Borgmann. And I also can verify that there is a sign there. I have property across the street from it, and I think this request to make this sign this tiny bit larger is ridiculous. And I think we should stick with the rules and ordinances that we've created and hold to them, especially in this case where it's so insignificant.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in opposition to the petition? No? All right, you have some rebuttal time if you'd like to use it. 3 minutes.
I don't really have much to rebuttal. The one thing, the sign, I said there was not a sign because it was a temporary sign. There wasn't a permanent sign installed yet, so that's what I assumed you were asking. Just want to make sure you didn't think I was just lying. But and the speed of the traffic, it isn't for the traffic coming around from the roundabout. It's for more distant traffic so that they can see from a distance that there is a gas station up there, not for the people right there in the roundabout.
Okay. These, you probably heard me ask, and I don't want to keep beating the topic, but where you measure the height from, what is the intent
Yeah,
of where you would measure that height
Yeah,
from? Because
it's-
that's what it show on the exhibit.
yeah, it's from ground level, from the dirt to the
Okay.
top of the sign.
Okay. Just the adjacent where it's going to be, not out at the right of way?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
I think you might be able to go a little higher than what you're looking at is what I guess I'm getting at, is because it would be, I believe what we checked, Kayla, was the adjacent right of way, correct? That's what we checked earlier. That's correct. Yeah. So it might be you can get it a little higher than what you're planning currently
Yeah,
from
because
that.
they were going just from the level of their property.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
I have one question for staff.
For staff.
Yeah, for staff. Is there anything in UDO that's at all addressing signage? Are we changing anything in UDO for?
Sign regulations are getting a complete overhaul in the UDO.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're missing anything. So I think if there's no discussion, any discussion on the staff conditions.
I think the only recommendation is that on option 1, number 2, it would be allowed to be on during the day, but off at night. I think that was the only amendment we would consider.
So yeah, so option 1 has the 2 conditions of the landscaping and then the illumination of the white background that you're saying we could amend to be on during the day, off at night. So does anybody want to address those conditions with a motion? Or?
We have typical conditions that we'd extend for exceeding sign aggregate.
Yes, we do.
And I do think that perhaps that would be good to have in our conditions incorporated by reference. They are building. We should probably ask for consent from the petitioner. Building permits related should be obtained within 12 months, located where presented, not exceed.
Square footage advertised.
The square footage advertised. I think it says 300, but I think it's just.
Yeah, it says 300 here, but I would say
Square footage
if
as
we're going to do
advertised.
this,
I think it's not as.
be square footage as advertised.
And presented.
Yep.
Okay. Mrs. Thrasher, what we're discussing is some additional conditions from what you've already heard tonight, which would be that your building permits related to this variance be obtained within 12 months of the above approval date, and the sign be located where presented on your application, and that the sign may not exceed the as advertised area.
Yes.
All good with that? Okay. Was there any more than just those?
I think that was it
Yeah.
that I found. So maybe a motion, should there be a granting of this, that staff recommendations and conditions would carry, and the 3 standard variants for the sign aggregate as presented would attach as well. I'm not amending that. I wouldn't amend, in my motion, I'm not amending the white background.
Okay.
Not, yeah.
Okay.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to attach the stated conditions to the variance should it be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Please go ahead and fill out your ballots. You don't have to stand there and wait on us. Thank you. Sit down. How did I lose my ballot?
Okay, the variance for case number 25-2596 is denied, a vote of 3-1, with Ms. Casey granting.
All right, thank you for your time. All right, item number 3, Mega Farm was Mr. House requests the variance due to wanting a full board, so we could take a motion on that request. Continuance, sorry, what did I say?
So moved?
Yeah, all right. So
Second.
moved and seconded to grant the continuance of item number 3, Mega Farm, due to our abbreviated board this evening. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe that the commissioners may make an appointment on the 29th this month.
That's what I understand. Yes, that's what I understand. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I
get
think
it.
it's on the agenda. I think so.
Very
yeah.
good. Have a good evening. And
Thank you.
Do you want these back for that petition?
Yes, please. Want to leave them in your folder?
I shall do so.
Lacey, ballots, do those come?
They do. I'll give them a big pile at the end.
Yeah, you'll get those. Yeah, you'll get those. at the
My
end of the
first
meeting.
one doing this by myself without Darla.
I'll keep
Yeah, we usually wait till the end of the meeting and give them to you.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
See,
Item
Jack-
number
Jack hands me yours.
4, variance to reduce required 15-foot setback. Mr. Judy.
So Judy variance, this was a continuance from last month due to the one voting. It automatically continued for this month. This is a request for one variance to reduce the required 10-foot side yard setback to 3 for a proposed garage. The subject property is located at 3493 South 500 West in New Palestine within the R 2.5 zoning district. So a little bit of the timeline for this petition, just for clarification for the board. The petition, any petition is required a pre-filing meeting. For this specific case, the pre-filing meeting was held on April 30th. As I said, pre-filing meetings are required for any petition for this board. And this just goes over with the petitioner about the votings that it can have, all the requirements they need to do in order to get the petition on the agenda. Variance application was submitted to the planning department on May 30th. And due to the June BZA agenda being already full at the time of the filing, the petitioner wasn't notified that this was going to be on the July agenda. And then on June 4th, the planning department received a formal withdrawal of a petition on the June BZA agenda. Therefore, it will open up a space for a new petition. And so staff notified Mr. Judy that they could move up their case for the June BZA meeting if they so choose to, and the petitioner agreed, and they paid their filing fee on June 4th, therefore officially moving their first hearing to the June 26th BZA meeting. At that public hearing, the variance request was heard on June 26th with a quorum of 3 to 5 of members presented. A favorable motion was made and received a vote of 2 ayes and 1 no. Without a third voter for or against the motion, the BZA was unable to make a decision to approve or deny the variance request. Therefore, it was continued to the July 24th BZA, therefore having its second hearing. The petitioner did provide a letter of intent, and if he so chose to, he can go over that. This is the site plan they provided. In red, it shows the proposed garage and the proposed setbacks to the third 3 feet setback to the property line is what they're requesting for tonight. These are some more images for the proposed garage of how that would look. Staff recommendation has not changed from the last meeting. We are recommending an approval with the modification that the approved setback reduction from the 10 feet to actually be 5 feet, noting that the setback, it is from the edge of the overhang and not the foundation. Any questions?
So this petition that came last month, it is, the petitioner didn't change anything about it, right? One of the things I was wondering about, though, that I don't know that I caught last month was that it's a request from 15 feet to 3 feet, but
Yes,
I believe that the plat allowed
yep,
10, right?
you're correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So as opposed to a 12-foot, it's a 7. So, okay.
Wait, what?
So the zoning, the ordinance would say 15. This property is in a plat that allowed 10 feet. Side yard setbacks. Yeah, so the variance isn't as big as what it looks, I guess, on paper, so.
So instead of the 15, we're at the 10, and we're not going to 3, it's to 5?
The staff recommendation
Got
is
it.
5 instead of
Thank
3,
you.
the requested 3, yeah. And I believe last month we had a condition that was 5 feet to the wall, correct? Not 5 feet to the overhang, is that?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
The recommendation, though, is that edge of the overhang, not foundation? Is that how it's reading?
So that was the staff recommendation, and then for the board, they decided.
Got it.
That's where we ended last
That's where we ended
month, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
good, thank you.
If there are any other questions, I will turn it over to the petitioner.
Okay, is the petitioner here? Come on up.
Do you swear or affirm, under the penalty of perjury, that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name, spell your last name.
David Judy, Judy.
7 minutes.
I really don't have too much more to add. Like I said, we're going to move it to the 5, from the 3 feet to the 5 feet, which we're totally okay with. It's where it's being proposed now is in the perfect location. It can't really move farther backwards to the east. That would be in the same position of where we're at now. Can't move it farther to the north or south. It's in the perfect location where it needs to be. The 24, it's 30 feet long, 24 feet wide. It's a lot of measuring and time has gone into determining that length, that depth and width. That's what it needs to be. The current garage that's attached to our house now is 20 feet, and it's cramped as it is now. That's why we're wanting to build a little bit bigger garage. That's not with my vehicle in it. It's my wife's vehicle and everything we have now. We don't have an attic for storage. We have an attic, it's just not right for storage. We are wanting to start a family here soon, so we definitely need the space. So this would be perfect for us. To the south of us, there's no fire thread or anything like that. It's just open grass, vacant lot, no trees, no structures. The pastor of the Methodist Church has called me in support. He's really excited about what we are wanting to do and what we've done. We've completely renovated that house. We've added a lot of value to that house and to the community around it. And we're wanting to do even more. So he's excited about what we're wanting to do right next to his property. He told me that. Detached garage will increase the value of the property from 5 to 15%. It's a win-win for all. It's good for us, it's good for the community, it's good for the county. My wife and I are from here. We went to New Palestine High School, both athletes. We love this community, love the county. We bought our first home in Hancock County, and we're wanting to start a family and raise them in Hancock County. So, yeah, this is important. So that's all I have.
Okay. I did want to let you know that you had voiced a concern to some of your elected officials, and that did make its way here, so it was heard.
Mm-hmm.
So the chronology, though, was a little hard to follow. I was told that you were here for 3 months consecutively, but it didn't appear that that was the case. I just want to make sure that we clarified that to them.
I didn't say that. They
okay.
must have misheard what I said. I did not say that.
Okay.
Last month was my first time.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a confusion there as to how the staff was handling the case. So there were a few conditions that we typically do with these setbacks that we didn't address last month. We're kind of sporadic there. You said you're fine with the 5 feet to the wall or 5 feet to the overhang?
Well, last month you guys stated overhang.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was last month,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said wall today. So if it goes with the overhang, it's a 1 foot overhang.
For the minutes, it shows a 5 foot setback from the wall with a 1 foot overhang on the garage.
Right.
Yes. So the staff's recommendation is still to the overhang, but we amended that last month to be to the wall, which gave you a little more space there. And I noted a few conditions here in my review. I was just going to run these by you and see how you felt about them. That the structure would not be any larger than what was noted in the petition, which is the 24 by 30? 24 by 30, mm-hmm. That's fine. No doors on the south elevation, opening out into the setback.
Gotcha.
Okay. The eave height to match or be lower than the primary residence so that the building's not larger, doesn't look like a primary or whatever. Color to match the house? Mm-hmm. Okay. Downspouts, we talked about that last month. Downspouts to point to the north onto your property.
Yep.
You mentioned that you've mentioned a couple times that the pastor was okay with it, likes it. Do you have any emails or anything that you could from him that you could give to the staff to put into the file?
I don't. He gave me a phone call. He actually asked if he wanted to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I said he can if he wants to. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But I have a phone call.
Okay. And then here's one that's a little bit more difficult that we've done a few times with these, and that's the survey stakes. The reason for that is just because it can get you into some trouble down the road if they survey and then your neighbor does something and surveys and then your spot's not in the same spot as their spot.
Oh, okay.
So if before you build it, you get it surveyed, staked, which you would have staking done anyway. But we've found some contractors don't. They skip that step. So that way the stakes would be in the ground when the inspectors come and then they could see that the setback that was approved here was met.
Gotcha.
So it costs a little money, but it kind of prevents issues in the future.
Okay.
So acceptable as well?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. I was probably a little premature on that because we got to ask for the remonstrators, but I just want to make sure that I remembered all.
And just to confirm, you are comfortable with what was recommended last time, which is 5 foot to the wall with a 1 foot overhang?
Right.
And you're able to reconfigure within the maximum of what is in the petition? And comply?
Yeah, so, we measured it out, and from the wall or even from the overhang, it works out. So I know we thought it was going to be the overhang with a 1 foot overhang, which would actually be 6 feet instead of 5, and that still works out. So either way, it works out.
Okay.
Thank
you. So we measured it either way. If it was going with the overhang, we'd be directly at 10 feet from the septic tank. which, of course, we can't get any closer than that,
Right.
within 10 feet. So with the wall, it actually gives us an extra foot there. So that
Okay.
actually helps us out a little bit. But either way, it works out,
Okay.
wall or overhang.
Okay. All right. Any more questions? No? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody that would like to speak in opposition? No? Later? You want to speak now or as a government official? Okay. Anybody like to speak in opposition? No? All right, government officials.
Yep, you are.
Scott Wooldridge again. I came here, I don't want to come here every time. I got better things to be doing. Yeah, I do. There were three things on your agenda that people have been talking to me about. One was the one I came and spoke about. Second one is the tractor trailer parking. And the third one is this one. I'm one of the three that myself, Commissioner Spalding, and State Representative Lawson, we all received an email from Mr. Judy. I told the other two I would speak with them because that's my district. I know it's also Mr. Spalding's, but and so then I did, and I listened to them. And when I left before you guys voted. I stayed to hear it, and I left because I figured it was going to pass. So I just want to say that I can't speak on behalf of the other two, but I support what he's trying to do here. I think, I've driven by there many times. I know you probably have too. It's right there by the land that next to church. So I think it's going to be a good thing for everything. And it sounds like I liked your requirements. I think they're fine. Although that survey is very expensive. So,
it is, but it's
there's not too many people that do it anymore.
Right,
so.
right, yeah.
But that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. We didn't have any demonstrators, but did you have anything you wanted to say in your rebuttal time? Nope, all good? All right, thanks. All right, any discussion? I ran through, Mr. Judy was good with the conditions that I ran through. I don't know that you got all those. I could restate them, or if you want to make, anybody want to make it? You're going to type them out?
Well, I'm taking notes, so if you would just repeat them.
You want me to do it again?
Did you? Yeah.
You want to do it in the form of a motion? Can you in your role? Or do you want me to do it?
I can. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
can. That's okay, right?
That'd be good.
Yeah, you're good? Okay. So should this variance be approved, I would move that it be subject to the following conditions. Be a 5-foot setback to the overhang to the wall. Sorry. Okay. 5-foot overhang. I'm going to restart.
Setback
all that.
shall be 5 feet measured from the wall with 1 foot overhang.
Yes.
That's what I have.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. The structure would be no larger than the presented size of 24 by 30. No doors on the south elevation opening into the setback. The eave of the structure to match or be lower than the primary residence. The color of the structure to match the house. All downspouts to point to the north. The petitioner has testified that there is no opposition and there is support from the church. So I guess that's hearsay testimony. So that shouldn't really be in the condition, I guess, but that was on my notes. And then there would be a property line survey and survey stakes for the foundation of the structure to remain in place throughout the construction.
Second.
All right, been moved and seconded to accept the conditions as stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Variance in case number 25-2610 is granted with a vote of 4-0.
All right, thanks. You're all set for a building permit. All right, item number 5, James Evan, variance for 2 signs on a facade not facing a private road.
So Evan variance, the petitioner James Evan is requesting 2 variances to allow 2 signs on facades that are not facing a public road or public street. The subject property is located at 5821 West US 40. This is located in the commercial neighborhood zoning district. The petitioner has submitted a letter of intent, and I will allow him to go over that. So this petition came to the planning department as a sign permit application, and through the process of reviewing, we saw that 2 of the proposed signage didn't meet our standards. And in this image, this depicts what I provided to the petitioner when applying for the sign when applying for this sign permit. Highlighted in purple is what the planning department deemed as public road. Highlighted in green is what we deem as private road. And then, as you can see, there is a little section where it is highlighted yellow. Based on our non-residential sign standards, the section that's highlighted in yellow is allowable facade for a wall sign. And currently, sign number 4, it is permitted and it has already been granted a permit. Sign 1 and 2, they are not located on a facade that faces a public or private street. And so based on our sign standards, this wouldn't be allowed. The petitioner provided a image of the proposed signage. This is one of the signs that is being requested tonight. This is located on the rear facade, as mentioned, not facing a public street or private road. Sign number 2, this is the other proposed signage. This is the second variance that they are requesting. This is located on the side facade that is not facing any streets. And this just shows on Beacon a more clear image of like how the site is laid out and the streets that are located on the side. So they are requesting the variance for wall signs under our non-residential sign standard. The decision criteria that the board can consider is general welfare, adjacent properties, and practical difficulty. And the staff is recommending denial for the 2 requested sign variants because the proposed wall signage does not face a public or private street. The intent of the sign standard is to ensure signage is directed towards areas of public visibility. I apologize. Public visibility and access. The building does have adequate amount of code compliant wall space where they are able to put signage. They also do already have an existing monument sign located on the main road that provides clear and visible identification for the property. And the granting the variance would undermine the proposed sign code.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. I had a question that I forgot to ask you earlier.
Yeah.
So this variance is for signs 1 and 2.
Yes.
They're kind of, in my mind, they're the same, I guess, but they're a little different in their orientation. So how could we maybe address them separately? Is that a possibility?
So since there are 2 variances, yes.
It is 2 variances?
Yeah, because
We only have one ballot.
We only have one
have one ballot.
It's a variance for 2 signs.
The way the staff report reads, I was going to ask that same question. It says they're
Got 2
requesting 2 variances.
I guess, how was it advertised? Was it advertised as 2 signs?
ballots. I've got 2 in my packet that's supposed to be the same as theirs.
I have one.
I'll get you a couple more.
Okay.
I only have one.
It reads to allow 2 signs on facade not facing private road or street on the face of the that we have in the packet.
That's how it was advertised.
That's how it's, yeah. And it says signs.
Allow 2 signs. So you wouldn't necessarily fill out 2 applications. It says 2 variances at the top up here. So
Did you collect 2 fees for 2 variances, or did you?
Like the 2 fees, we had the charge for the first variance and then an additional variance within the same application.
Okay, so you'll want to call one of your ballots sign 2 and one sign.
1.
I can't tell what that number is.
Sign 2 and sign 1.
Do west and south.
In the staff report, she calls them 1 and 2. So
Okay.
sign 1 is the south. And sign 2 is the east. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I got one quick question, just a second.
Yep.
When I say that was west. So obviously the intent of a sign is to attract people.
Mm-hmm.
So in one sense, it doesn't, and I'll get to this as another part later, it doesn't make sense to me to put a sign where very few people are going to see it. Like behind Willie's is a field.
Mm-hmm.
So why does the sign ordinance care? Situation.
You mean, why does it care?
Yeah,
that there's a sign
if there's
there?
a sign not facing a public road, because typically most sign ordinances are to regulate the amount of signs in public roads, not facing away from public roads.
I would say where we are tonight at the BZA, it's basically our job just to tell you what our current ordinance does say. And it states that any sign needs to face either a public road or a private road. I would say that the neighboring properties could also be taken into consideration. What this does as far as light, glare, distraction, things onto their properties, those could be taken into consideration or be, but apart from that, that's all I got.
Now, does the signs code specifically say exterior only?
I believe
She copied the 156.087.
The specific one that's related to the variance.
Wall signs shall be located on the facade of the primary structure facing a public or private street.
Yes.
And unless you redacted that in any way, I can pull up the actual code. Is that that's just an?
Yeah,
part
I
of that.
just, section that the variance is from, or asking from.
Is, my favorite question, does the UDO mess with this at all? Public, private?
since our initial, since this code was adopted, there has been change in upper level government regarding sign regulations. So it is, the content of our current code is more or less still in keeping with good planning practice. However, a lot of the way sign regulations read is totally different in modern sign regulations. So I would, that's why I say our sign regulation is going to be totally overhauled to be more in keeping with upper level decisions by courts.
If I, maybe as a point of procedure, maybe one of the conditions would be, whatever happens, like if denied, then our moratorium on filing would be waived should local UDO or whatever we want to call it come out that'd be more favorable. Then we can allow them to apply under that. I think that might be appropriate for us. We're just kind of stuck in that. Like we have to enforce what's on the books, but we know what's coming. Which might apply to the other earlier one as well. We're so close to, I mean, close is a relative term. I mean, 6 months is close. So just maybe, Rhonda, think through that if you would, because that might be something I would like to propose on certain, not everything, but when we know it says extravagantly changed, it would be appropriate to allow for the waiver of I think it's a 1 year, right?
Refiling?
Yeah.
I see, yes.
Right. Yes, yeah, that's what I'm talking
Thank
about, yes.
Okay.
If there are no further questions, I'll turn it over to the petitioner.
Thanks. Somebody here with Willie's Roadhouse? Come on up.
You swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name, spell your last name.
James Evans, EVANS.
I'll have 7 minutes. Go right ahead.
Okay. The reason for the signage or whatever there is, of course, everybody knows we have the Wawa going up there on the corner. And I also have a hair salon next to me too that which is grandfathered in, his building is in front of my building. So the time you get to his building, you kind of pass my building. So the Willie sign, the number 2, I don't have my thing, but it's the number 2 sign that you guys got on the brick wall. That signage or whatever there, if you're sitting at Mount Comfort Road and 40, that's the only corner of the building, of my building, that you see. That's it. So that's why the placement of that sign was right there. So it's facing, Mount Comfort Road, if you're sitting there heading east to here. So that's why the placement was important to us for that to be there. Because as you guys well know, when you're going down 40, nobody wants to, if they pass your place, they're not going to do a U-turn. They're not going to do anything. They just keep going to the next restaurant, and that's all it is. But you guys know how hard it is in the restaurant business. Trust me, it's hard. The other sign in the back, or whatever, sign 1, if you look to the left of sign 1, I added onto the building there, and that is the actual entrance to the bar area.
Okay.
So that's why that's there. And directly behind me is Wallace well drilling. So as far as hurting anybody's eyes or anything else, it's a manufactured business that's run during the day and out they go.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you, again, playing devil's advocate here, why you were going to put signs in those 2 locations. Because
it's perfect that what I just said. If you're sitting at Mount Comfort and heading east or whatever here, that's the only corner of my gray building you see.
Okay, what about sign 1 here though on the back?
On the back, I just put it there because of the front door going into the bar.
Okay.
Because everybody parks in the back now, and that's the main entrance basically to the bar. So I wanted a Willie sign or whatever up there, basically, it's the front of the building basically to me. I know it doesn't face a service road, but that's the front of the building to me.
Faces your parking lot.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, really, that's all I had. I mean, I was going to put the signs on timers and everything, the whole 9 yards. I mean, if we're open, they're on, but if we're not open, they're not on.
What's your typical hours of operation?
We open up at 11 o'clock, lunchtime, of course, or whatever, Fridays and Saturdays or whatever, maybe midnight, latest. I mean, it's been that way. We close when the last customers leave, we close it up. Through the week, 9 o'clock, we're out of there. And then my parking lot lights that I have on in there, I leave those on until midnight, 1 o'clock for safety factors, you know. But really, that's all I got, guys.
Yeah,
It's just, you know, trying to get my piece of the pie.
I'm just, I might have missed that they were lit. Are they internally lit?
Actually, the background or whatever, if you see them,
Yeah.
is red and it's not lit up, but the white outline or whatever's lit up.
Okay.
So the whole sign's not lit up, it's just the outline.
Okay.
And Greenfield Lighting Company is the guys doing my lighting, which you guys see their logos all over.
So a couple questions on the conditions. Would you be open to having as a condition that there would be timers they would only be on during your open hours? It'd be a condition?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, just be a condition.
Yep.
Also, we typically require that the building permits be obtained within 12 months, and any permits for the signage? Will there be permits for this? Okay,
Should be.
permits.
The signage
Okay.
permit, yeah.
So it'd be applied for within 12 months?
Yep.
Okay. And then you have to locate it as presented to us and as advertised. So the signs, the location, it has to be in line, if approved, with what you've presented this evening. Is that acceptable?
Okay, I got a question. So when you say that or whatever, you need the permit, you need me, because I got the specific, basically measurements of where they're gonna be. So do you need where they hang the signs and then come back and see you guys?
No.
Or what you got in front of you is that?
Follow this. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The last thing, what I was talking about earlier, is that there's some changes coming to the way that we handle signage in the county. And so if denied, that was if approved. If denied, then you can reapply, because we usually have a one-year time frame where you're limited not to come back. But if we come out with better, more favorable signage, I don't know if it's going to address this or not, but if it does, we would waive the limitation on refiling if our standards are updated. That's more favorable. Okay, I just wanted that. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, I just had, like I said, I just asked, you know, me and my wife, where we drove around and down State Road 9, every restaurant down through there's got 3 signs on 3 sides of the buildings.
Can we talk about the timers and when the timers be allowed to be illuminated? Or what's the
During
time?
open hours?
Just this, they can be on during open hours only?
Mm-hmm.
I know for the last sign we did, I think we said at nighttime it had to be shut off, so.
They requested that. I did not put that in the motion, though.
Okay. You're good. Yeah, thank you. Does anybody here want to speak in opposition to this petition? Did you raise your hand or were you just pushing your glasses up? Okay. All right. Yeah, unfortunately. All right. Any discussion on conditions? And we've got our ballots indicated here, sign 1 south, sign 2 west.
Okay. Would like to make a motion that should the variances pass, the lights, there would be timers where the lighting would be only on during open hours, that the signs would be installed as advertised and presented in tonight's packet, and that the permit would be requested within a 12-month period. But if denied, then we would waive the refiling date requirement if updated standards, design standards are passed, which would be more favorable to the applicant.
Okay.
Rhonda, I know I gave you like 0 time to think about that.
Yeah,
Are you
well,
okay with
I
that?
had down, if petition is denied, should a newly adopted UDO, Unified Development Ordinance, be adopted by the county with more favorable regulations to the petitioner, the petitioner shall be permitted to refile with the BZA without following the 1-year waiting requirement.
That's it. That is it. That's my motion.
All right. All right. It's been moved and seconded that the conditions as stated be applied to both sign variances, sign 1 south, sign 2 west, if the variances are approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. President, is the one that you signed, is the one you circled?
Yes. Sorry. Had a slip of the pen.
Okay. For variance number 25-2614, for sign number 1, which is on the south, the variance is granted, a vote of 4-0. For sign number 2 on the west side, for a variance number 25-2614, it is granted, a vote of 3-1, with Mr. Long denying.
All right. You're all set. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for hanging in there with us tonight. Okay, item number 6. Mr. Rusty Fields, special exception for contractor storage yard.
We joke about that, but I drive that around every day.
So Fields special exception, the petitioner Rusty Fields is requesting a special exception on the subject property, 5972 North, 600 East. The petition would allow a contractor storage yard in a agricultural zoning for wildlife control. The subject property is currently surrounded by agricultural zoning. The petitioner submitted a letter of intent, and I would allow him to go into detail if he so choose to. So this is the site plan the petitioner has provided, depicting all of the parking and property and buildings that are located within the site, and the dimensions of that. Although this is not a home occupation, the petitioner submitted a home occupancy questionnaire that provided some information that we believe the board would find useful. The petitioner has stated that there will be 9 full-time employees working through Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be designated parking for customers in the front of the building. The property is served on a septic system. They responded yes, typically with 2 employees on site at a time. There is no proposed signage, and they do have a nuisance and wild animal control permit. So when looking at the site, we decided to connect with the highway department to get some feedback, since this site currently has 3 entrances and exits. And the feedback we received after consulting with the highway department is that the entrance that is marked out in red with X's, that would be required to be removed due to not being in compliance with highway standards and its close proximity to the intersection. So for this petition, the staff is recommending approval with the following conditions. The petitioner shall coordinate with the county health department to ensure that the on-site septic is compliance with health department standards and regulation, that the entrance and exit located closest to the intersection of 600 North and 600 East shall be permanently removed. The petitioner shall also coordinate with the highway department to ensure that all remaining entrances and exits comply with their department standards. We also are adding the condition that any future signage that would be proposed shall require a permit and a complete sign permit application review. And the last condition is petitioner shall install landscaping on the north parking in order to screen parking lot from 600 North in accordance to our landscape standard parking lot perimeter, where it states parking lots facing a public right-of-way or a residential zone/use shall provide 1 shade tree and 10 shrubs per 30 linear square feet, linear foot. Apologize.
Did you happen to learn anything through this, and the petitioner will probably be able to explain it better, but the nuisance wild animal control permit, do you know what that is?
That would be a question for the petitioner.
Okay, all right. All right, any questions for Maria, staff? Nope, all right, thank you.
I'll hand it over to the petitioner.
Petitioners, okay, come on up.
Hey, Maria, can I ask you one question real quick? The home occupation paperwork that's in here, can you?
So that, it's not a home occupation, but they submitted it with their application, and because it had information that I thought would be useful for the board, we added it.
So that's not,
it's not
on pending or anything?
No.
Okay, thanks.
It's.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name and spell your last name.
Rusty Fields, Fields.
7 minutes.
So the wild animal control permit we've had for several years. We do things statewide. We do everything from bugs all the way to deer. So we do a lot of geese, we do a lot of bats, we do lots and lots of different animals. We have, actually, this is a great thing that we need this because we've grown. It was a 1-truck show, quite literally, and now I do have 9 employees, so we are going the right direction, and I need this to keep me out of divorce court because I have all this stuff going through my house. So we just didn't have room. And it just worked out for me that this is actually, my parents have had this area since 1984, I think, and so it worked out to where I could afford it. It was cheap enough we could do it down there and get everything moved in and still have room to grow. We won't have to add any buildings. There's all kind of storage already there. There's a 40 by 100 pole barn. There's an old barn there that just needs a little refurbishing, and I think it'll be great. We have done a lot there as far as cleaning up everything. We got all the weeds cut. We got everything mowed, got everything like it is. We didn't really need to do anything except a little bit of parking because we do have some trailers. That's why we had inquired about exactly what we needed to park trailers. So we have a place down on the bottom part where we can actually put the trailers down there. Because we do, like I said, we haul a lot of things around, so we do need trailers.
This is not a home occupation, correct? You're not living here?
No.
Anybody living in the house?
Yes, the house is rented separately.
Rented separately, okay.
Because if you see the houses, it faces 600 East.
Right. Okay, and what is this, the word nuisance catches my attention on the BZA, so.
Well, because by law in Indiana, we have to have a permit to do out of season. Like, for instance, if you have a raccoon in your attic, that's considered a nuisance animal if it's outside of the harvest season. So therefore, we can come and remove that animal. We have the permit to do that.
Okay.
And we get other permits that are federal permits, like for geese. Geese cause a lot of problems, so we get federal permits to come in and either relocate, euthanize, whatever the case may be.
Okay, it's a permit to deal with out-of-season animals.
It's all through the DNR. We work a lot with the DNR. We do some federal, but a lot of what we do is with our Indiana DNR.
Okay, and you house the animals here?
No.
Oh, not at all?
No.
Okay.
Unless it would be an overnight thing would be the only thing, because we can only keep them 24 hours.
Okay.
And we usually have rehabbers is who we take them to, depending on the customer. If they want to relocate it or rehabbed, depends on what we would do.
Oh, okay. So you would remove the animal and then take it back to its habitat and release it, okay?
It's actually called translocation because we have to take it outside of its little home range in most cases, with the exception of bats. But
oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, it's a weird little neat thing that you should get on our website and look around, and you will be surprised at all the things that we do.
I was intrigued a little bit.
And bats are their own special little monsters.
Bats are awesome, don't get me wrong, but I don't want them in my house, okay? So that's why we work so well with the state, because we work to get the bats out of your house, but we don't want to kill them. So we're going to help you get rid of them, but we're going to help them stay around.
Okay.
Yeah, part of my job requires tree removal, and there's only certain times of year that I can do that.
And keep an eye out for that Indiana bat, because he's the one.
He's the one.
Yes, and you can't do anything
in
until
multiple
August 15th.
states.
Yes, you can't do anything until August 15th.
That's
That's
right.
when the bats become what they call volant, which is a special term that bats get so they can fly, when the young can fly.
Have any lapses or fines under your permit? You had it for 7 years, all cleared it every year, good to go? Okay. And the animals would be potentially stored up to 24 hours on this site? And so you have this rented out on the adjacency to someone who's living there, so is it disclosed to them?
She works for me.
Okay, okay.
So she gets
Obvious
it.
disclosure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the young lady
All
right
right.
there.
All right.
There's a puppy that lives at my house. I don't know that it's wild, but it is a nuisance.
Actually trying to get them to get rid of the term nuisance.
Yeah, it's kind
Because
of,
it's pretty
a problem,
off-putting
isn't it?
to
Bad
a
for
lot.
marketing, yeah.
Yes.
Would you have an objection to, because this occupancy is in the proximity of would you have an objection to a disclosure, if it's a third party or someone, disclosure of the adjacency of nuisance animal up to 24 hours holding? You just disclose it. Okay, thank you.
And we had already talked about, I didn't know until I just saw it here, but we had talked about getting rid of that third entrance. I don't know why it was ever there. It literally came right out into the middle of the intersection.
Right.
And I do need to know this. It said permanent removal. What does that mean? Does that mean that I have to like dig out the gravel? Do I need to plant some? I don't understand what permanent removal means.
Probably have to talk to the highway department to see what would satisfy them, but I'm assuming
thing's been there forever.
It's probably back to lawn probably. So yeah, probably the removing of the gravel and everything.
I just didn't know exactly what the terminology was for
Yeah,
permanent
yeah.
removal.
Yeah. The disclosure thing, how would that be handled? Is that a title thing or how does
Lease.
that?
I mean,
in the lease in case
in the
another
lease.
tenant.
Yeah, so
Oh.
if she leaves and someone else is going to come
You
in.
were just
and
talking
rent
about the house there, not this. Okay, got it.
just that one. Yeah,
Okay.
nowhere else.
And of the 9 people we had to send the letters to, I've done jobs for 6 of them, so
Okay.
pretty comfortable with those.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Do you anticipate that you're going to need some signage at all? Or
The only thing that we may need eventually is something just for the location. I'm thinking like maybe on the building might be best. I don't know. We hadn't really thought about that. I'm trying not to get the cart in front of the horse.
Okay. We usually like to see the full, just so you don't have to come back and more filing fees. We like to see the whole thing at the same time, but if you haven't kind of figured that out, and the new sign standards might benefit you, so maybe look at those when they come out.
Excellent. And did I hear you say that 6 months is not very long, but in that term, it would be about what you think it's going to be something close to that?
Perhaps.
Perhaps, okay. Yeah, because it's not something I'm rushing for, but if it's something that would be easier to do all at once, I'm all for it, absolutely.
You don't have customers come to your,
The only time we do that is in deer season, because Brad, the gentleman Brad the butcher out there, we break down deer for him during deer season. That's the only time that we have people there. Other than that, it's just company vehicles, or like we provide vehicles for the techs, so they come in and they park their personal vehicle there, and then they take the company vehicle. And it's great because it's a quarter of a mile down the road from my house.
Okay.
But it gets it out of my house.
You would be surprised how many times people mention divorce court to us. It's,
My wife has been very understanding, I
Yeah.
will have to say. I can't fault her there.
yeah. Okay.
Other questions?
I don't think so. Anything else? Anybody? All right. Thanks. Does anybody here want to speak in opposition to this petition? None? All right. Any discussion on the staff conditions?
Make a motion, should this be approved, all staff recommendations would carry, except one edit to number 2, as permanently removed as defined by the Department of Transportation, and then adding a new number 6 that if any leases are executed for the on-site occupancy, that disclosure of nuisance animals with a potential 24-hour hold period in adjacent buildings be conducted.
So let me get that one right, because I was working on that one.
Oh, sure. So it would be a disclosure in the lease?
Petitioner shall disclose in the lease to any tenant living in the house when animals are being held at the location for more than 24 hours?
There's a potential for nuisance animal housing for a 24-hour period, up to a 24-hour period.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, because he said he couldn't hold them longer than 24 hours. Okay.
Do we do the, and we do the normal special exception things, run with, we used to have a bunch of those. Are we doing those still?
Well,
Are those just natural? We just assume they're in there now?
so they run with the petitioner. We have conditions of variances, but I don't know if we had standard conditions of, we do. We had a contractor's storage. Accessory dwelling.
I mean, it's this preserve the right, runs with it.
Okay.
It has to, all those things. I just assume they carry with all of them. Incorporation
so-
by reference from staff?
Contractor's warehouse and storage yard conditions is, you know, did you happen to talk to them about these at all, these standard conditions? Owner shall seek and obtain improvement location permit for the change of use? We're not really doing that here. BZA reserves the right to modify and revoke special exception. We used to say that one all the time, but we don't add that one in anymore for some reason. Special exceptions shall automatically expire after 12 months unless all required county permits relating to the change of use have been approved. Special exception should be limited to and run with the petitioner or an assignee or affiliate of the petitioner in which the petitioner has and maintains a controlling interest. Otherwise, the special exception shall not be transferable to any other petitioner, person, or entity. There's a fifth one that doesn't pertain to this property. Those are all kind of standard things. Did those make sense to you guys? You want to come back up so that we can get, I can hear you? Do you want me to read those again? Oh, okay.
I actually came in and I was still speaking to Miss Darla before she got out of here. And I was explaining to these young ladies that I told them exactly what I wanted to do, and then they would tell me what I actually needed from you.
Okay.
So, and like with the contractor stuff, I didn't understand because she said that I wanted a place to put some trailers. I said, we will have trailers there. She said that that's the reason that she recommended that.
Okay.
That specific one.
Okay. So if we, the conditions that Ms. Willard stated, and then if we added to that the BZA reserves the right to modify or revoke the special exception at a public hearing if it determines that the business constitutes a public nuisance. That's where that nuisance word caught me. I assume you're fine with that.
Yes.
That if when the neighbors comes and complains a number of times, then we can vote to revoke it. The special exception shall automatically expire after 12 months unless all required county permits relating to the change of use have been approved. But there wouldn't be any permits required for this. Would there? You may have to get a permit to get rid of that drive, maybe the highway department. So you might check with them on that. But I'm sure you'll do everything in 12 months though. That's fair. And that the special exception be limited to and run with the petitioner or your affiliates and yeah, okay. So if you sold the place or different tenant can't do the same thing, yeah.
The only other one we might consider is that you would have the special exception so long as you're carrying the permit. I think it's really important that you're holding it and you don't have any fines or that's just us kind of protecting the area.
Okay.
Given your reputation and what you've been able to build with the business, we wouldn't probably, you know, if you did have fines or other things, we might not extend it the same way. So,
Like we were thinking.
So the special,
You actually get help whenever you do things right instead of, yes, thank you.
the special exception shall be limited to and run with the petitioner so long as the petitioner holds the permit, the wildlife nuisance permit, whatever that wording was. You guys have all that? You need us to try and restate everything?
Is that something that needs to go in the conditions?
yes, it's just numbers 2, 3, and 4 from the standard special exception.
Okay, let me pull that here.
And then number 4 would just be modified, that it would run with the petitioner so long as the petitioner holds.
On the special exception, typical conditions page.
The third page, which would be under the contractor storage yard. We would waive number 1, go with number 2.
So 1, 2, and
We would waive 1, we would do 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4.
And then after the second clause and run with the petitioner, we would just add so long as the petitioner holds.
So long as permit, what'd you say?
It was that,
You have a copy of it if you don't have one in there.
Yeah. Wildlife.
As long as petitioner holds.
it's a nuisance wild animal control permit. Does that sound right? Okay.
Sense.
Thank you.
Wild animal control permit. And that's from the state, right? Indiana, okay.
Because we do a lot of wildlife management. We
Yeah.
try to help you. We come to your place and say, look, what is your problem? So we really help animals with their people problems because we try to come in and then make it to where you can kind of cohabitate.
Interesting.
If you will, without them getting
Okay.
tearing things up or
Right, yeah.
giving you things you don't want.
Yeah, okay. All right. So we think we got them all?
I've got like about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 conditions. Does that sound right? Can we read them? Or you get comfortable?
Yeah. The original 5 plus the 6, which is the lease, plus the 3 from our standard.
We're getting rid of the driveway is the main one, right? Because the highway department wanted that out.
I had an amendment to that as number 2.
Got that one
Yeah, good.
modified.
Okay.
And I would like to make sure that we go on the record and state that these young ladies were very helpful when it came time to try to figure all this out, because I had no clue. I had no idea what I needed to do.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Yes.
We think they're pretty great too.
Yes.
That should round out my motion?
I think that's it. All right. Jason took the easy job. All right, moved and seconded that should this special exception be approved to be subject to these 9 stated conditions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And motion carries. All right, we'll vote. You can stand there if you want, or you can sit down, take it easy.
You are the boss.
Either way, I don't, whatever you want to do.
I'll have a seat.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, the special exception in case number 25-2617 is granted with a vote of 4-0.
All right, thanks. Just check with them, highway department, and then you should be all set. All right, thank you. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah. We didn't plan it.
All the county resources tonight, so.
All of it. One thing I wanted to bring up, is back to that, Judy, you talked about the eaves. You know, not going higher than the eaves of the house. I think we ought to change that. Not necessarily eaves, but the roof line. Top of the roof line.
Yeah.
Reason being, because like I've got a situation, if I wanted to build a barn, I know I'm gonna want 10-foot doors. Than a regular 8-foot door. So I've got something that's taller I could put in there. And if we
Regulations
match
for
the
peak.
eaves, that wouldn't really allow
Well,
for that.
Standard for peak as well.
I don't know that I would say that for all accessory buildings, but in that case, such a small building, small lot, everything was so tight. I just wanted to make sure it didn't tower over.
Well, and I would say that for anything that's not of garage size,
Yeah,
would be my argument that I would
yeah.
make.
That's a good point that we ought to,
Standard height.
Yeah.
Requirements that we have to look at and approve. If they are taller than our standards, they would be required to get a variance for height.
Yeah.
Which we've done in the past at, the airplane gentleman.
Airplane guy.
Yeah, airplane guy. But yeah, like in this situation, what if he wanted 10-foot doors?
Copy of what that.
Does it say anything about?
It actually, this is a copy you can have.
Okay, yeah.
This is their.
I'd put it in
Yeah,
the file.
thank you. Yeah. Put it in the file.
You guys want a file?
Yeah, it could go in the file.
That's perfect.
But like in in this case, you put a tall door and you can shorten your roof line to make sure you don't go taller than the house.
Yeah. All right. We're going to continue, guys, so you want to step outside. Thank you. All right. So that's all of our hearing items this evening. So other business, new agenda format and procedures update.
I will also make a note that there is another thing that we just didn't print an updated agenda. There is another item under new other business. So once I'm done with my update, I'll hand it up to Kayla so she can.
Okay.
So just wanted to provide a little update since we used something a little different this month for the agendas. And kind of just want to give you a quick little overview and update. So after working with Rhonda and Dawn, we've decided on a new procedure how we're going to handle our agendas. So this month you saw a preliminary agenda, although we didn't do it this month, but moving forward, what those agendas will have are the petition and if they have a site plan, have those linked in. So the filing deadline are the last Friday of each month. So the week following, we'll be working on scanning everything in and drafting that preliminary agenda. And once we complete that, we'll send that over to you. And then as we are working through our staff reports, we'll start finalizing that agenda. And once we have all those staff reports completed, and if we receive any letters of remonstrance or support, we'll also add that and send that over to you. And even after we have that finalized agenda posted and sent out, if we continue receiving any letters or remonstrance or support, if they made the submission deadline, you will be receiving updates as we are getting them, and also we'll update the agenda with those as well.
Just maybe a recommendation, could we put the case number on there as well?
Okay.
That'd be helpful. And then just while we're on agendas, would it be possible to incorporate some of our standard, which you recommend, the standard conditions from our variance and special exception? That would be, just so we don't forget, that I think that's.
We slipped away from that over the maybe the past year or so, but it is good to add those in. A lot of them are kind of go without saying, I guess, but they're good to have them on the record. So.
And then would it be possible on the cover sheet to show sort of a smaller version of the county of exactly where we're talking about? And I know we know, but there's just, especially when we have a full agenda, that's a real zoomed in, which is nice to see, but maybe just also in the same page where it's zoomed out. And then maybe some labeling of the colors, because if there's dissimilar colors and we're looking at, buffering or anything like that, it's just sometimes good to know what the zones we're looking at if we have not memorized it. Like I haven't.
Yeah, 'cause see, I'm kind of the opposite of you. I'd rather not have the colors, but labels. Hey, this area's.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks good. I guess, this new format looks really, really nice.
If you could, on the variances and the special ballots, could you just a shorthand of what number?
Yeah, so this month we were kind of trying to pick up where Darla left off. So she had mentioned that to us, but this is all new to me and Dawn. So we'll have that for next month.
Yeah, because when I sometimes I get all my papers out of order, and then I'm not sure quickly which ones are which, and then what variants we're voting for what.
Like Darla, when she would put the
handwritten,
this is variance number 1 for blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of nice because you don't have to sit there and try and what's what.
Yep. Yeah, and Rhonda said she used this at a conference as an example. And the only thing that I don't like about it is that I'm the only person here that has my middle name listed, which makes it feel like my mom's yelling at me when I look at it, but that's okay. So, no, it looks great.
I didn't even know that was on.
It just popped into my head as I was looking at this. Sounds like we're getting, iPhones listen to you and they give you ads and stuff, but I've never like talked about the Board of Commissioners meeting during a meeting and then get a text from the president of the Board of Commissioners that says it's on the agenda. That was weird. Did you tell him? Did you text him? That was kind of creepy. But anyways, we are going to get a new member next month. Evan was our vice president, so we may need to do an election next month. So
I was gonna bring that up as well, because don't have one now.
Yeah.
So.
and I don't know that the new member would want to do it, but maybe he does. So who knows? Maybe he's versed. We'll see. Kayla's going to meet with him or her, whoever it is. Yeah. Them. They, them. So, all right, next item.
Final thing on our agenda tonight, which is a new item, is amending the rules. We would like to introduce an amendment to our BZA rules and procedures that would add a section allowing for alternate members. So this is allowed in Indiana State Code and basically states that for each member, each of our 5 members, the same appointing body that appointed you can appoint an alternate member that would step in case you were not able to attend.
Or if you have a conflict.
Yes, or if you have a conflict. So double protection on both sides. That might be challenging, but at any rate, we would love to put this in place to hopefully make it easier for us to have full boards every month.
So not a scheduling conflict, a disclosure conflict.
It can be either one.
Okay, great, thank you.
Good. Here's the kicker, and I'm thinking about maybe seeing if we could pursue this in state legislation. It would be nice if there could be like one alternate that just came to the meetings, and then they could listen and learn, and we'd probably have to pay them, but they could fill in if there was ever a conflict, or they could just be this floater. The way the statute reads now is every appointing body has to have their own alternate. So one for each, Plan Commission would have to have an alternate, or Board of Commissioners would have to have an alternate for each appointing body. So there's got to be like your backup person. Each member has their backup.
Which I can see that in an argument case, because for like the town of Shirley, which is my representation, or Spring Lake, they may not see or agree with something that the commissioners or plan commission does.
So are you saying that it might be good to have your own backup because they'd come from Shirley?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that point too.
Kayla and I were talking about it a little bit, and it gets a little tricky because each position has such a specific requirement, and that's why it's hard to find people to sit on the board.
Right.
So finding a second person that's an alternate is going to be a little tricky, but worth the effort to search. So
I'm definitely let our town council president know.
Right, and then if you had to miss, then you could call your backup and say, hey, fill in for me. Then we'd have to be where we were.
So we would need to have them approved by appointing body.
basically do 2 appointments for each spot, basically. Member and a backup.
Kayla found Hamilton County, and they do that. So they're missing 2 alternates, but at least 3 of the people have alternates.
And so just a question, if it's say like a substantial number of alternates, can a continuance be requested? Or we wouldn't grant that, you know what I mean? You see what I'm...
Change the rules if you thought. So what I did put in here, though, I didn't think that, let's say Mike's alternate came that night. I think that person shouldn't have to serve as chair. So I did add wording that said the alternate wouldn't serve as the chair or vice chair. We'd hand that over to the vice chair in that case, or someone who's a regular member.
Temporary.
What about those times where we
here.
In a perfect world, the alternates would just come and attend anyway, right? You know, but then you'd have, like you said,
But
you'd
now
have to
they
pay
can
them.
watch online.
So that's true.
Or read the minutes, incredibly effective, right?
Kind of
There's,
keep up on things, yeah.
it'd be included in our normal distributions. Excellent.
So if you wanted to change anything tonight in what's drafted, you'll notice the changes are on page 3 of the rules. And I am changing a code site that got changed in state statute, so you'll see that at the top, just a code reference. But down, the part to look at is number 6. If there's any changes that you would like to propose to that, we could do that tonight. We have to wait 30 days before the proposed rules are adopted. Couldn't do that until next meeting to make that official, but then we'd also still have to wait on the appointing bodies to appoint their alternate. So,
And do we need to actively say that they contribute to quorum? Because there's some really weird things about the definition of quorum and how that's changed with virtual attendance.
Yeah.
So should the language in 6 say that they have, or does the fact that we say that they have all duties assume that they're contributing to quorum appropriately?
So are you thinking of this example where, let's say, the regular member couldn't be here, but the alternate wanted to participate electronically?
Or just be here? I mean, the alternates.
Alternate, I don't know that we need to say it, but they fill in the shoes of.
Okay, that's for all purposes, quorum, everything.
Right.
It's just that it weirdly carves it out differently.
Right, so with the electronic meeting policy, we can only have 50% of the members attend virtually, and then there's a limitation on how many consecutive times you can participate electronically. And then there are other reasons like veteran, or there's a lot of rules to that. So whenever we think there might be someone to participate electronically, we better just check with me and let me reread everything and make sure we don't have any limitations.
I was wanting to, I didn't get around to it, but you had, back when we kind of reorganized the planning commission, you put together all of the various requirements, and I was thinking that there was a requirement that, so like for position 3 and 4, we were really, I was thinking that Wendell and Byron were not eligible for those for some reason, and that's why we had the whole thing with Byron he had to either serve on the plan commission or the BZA, but he couldn't serve on both. I think
it was the technical committee, and Platt, thank you.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. He chose Platt.
So you can't be on all those, and so that's one he wanted to do.
Okay.
And he calls and he's very good at it. So I mean, I talked to him, like if that's what he wants, but I think he's ask him again. But a good alternate here. I don't know. Does that if he's a decision maker on Platt, does that conflict him here?
I kind of just put him down as, I knew there were a limited number of people who could serve as the plan commission representatives as an alternate, so I simply put down every name that I thought might be. But of course, if there is a reason that he shouldn't be considered for an alternate, then by
I think the only thing would be the conflict of him having planning commission and BZA and Platt. I mean, that's a 3-layer. His experience would qualify. He's the most qualified to do that. But I don't know if that is just that's a lot.
I do remember something about that, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
I can't remember.
So I'll have to go back and look.
Somewhere there's a conflict. Okay.
I never got around to chasing that down in my, because that was 2 years ago now. We did all that. It was detailed at the time.
It was.
Okay. So I guess the only action we need tonight is direct any changes, and then we have to sit on it for 30 days?
Adopt it, and then it's effective.
I think just acknowledge that it's been introduced. Okay. And unless you could make changes tonight if you had anything you want to change. Then once it's introduced, and we'll wait 30 days and adopt it at the next.
All right. So I don't know, do we need a motion for that, or do you just want this general consensus that we are acknowledging it as it is and we'll act on it in 30 days? Okay. All right. General consensus? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? All right. Sounds good. All right. That, everything. We'll say, oh, go
I just
ahead.
had one other thing. I kind of feel bad about the signage waiver for the second and not the first. For the reapplication timeframe. I don't know how to fix it. Going forward, proper notice.
You're saying like if the UD
Waive the moratorium on the limit if it's more favorable.
came back, then they're probably going to get their sign built the way it, so there probably wouldn't be a need for it.
True.
You know, probably going to go out and build their sign in a few months that will comply with current zoning.
Okay.
Plus, wouldn't you? I guess you could argue that the one was covered underneath the overlay and the other isn't.
True.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, I don't know if we do want to handle it or not, but our excited lady that we had this evening.
Perhaps we, as recommended by council, law enforcement, some sort of a
Are we talking about the little disturbance that happened earlier?
recess.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had to give a statement to the officers. They took my name and information, and we did charge trespassing, and so she's no longer allowed on the premises. And if she returns, she will be charged with trespassing.
That's that term you used, to trespass a person, right? That's to say that the, she's no longer allowed, and then if she's, then she would be charged formally with trespassing, so no
We'll get all that
action.
confirmed after the fact. Yeah.
Let's
We'll
define
get all
here.
We'll get
Yeah.
all that straightened
Because
out.
I think that she has become a recent voice, I guess, and she's been at the commissioners and council and stuff and doing similar things. This was her most aggressive, though, I think, so. But yeah, I don't fully understand her points. I might have to ask for some clarification on some of that, because I've read some of her postings and things, and I don't fully understand what she's talking about, but we might. I don't know that there's much to it, but maybe you know more about it, so. So if we had, I guess is the question, should we have an officer in attendance? And it might be that maybe that's a county-wide thing for all of these types of meetings. Maybe Plan Commission, BZA, Commissioners Council, maybe should have somebody all the time. So that's just another budget line item, right? So. I mean, I was impressed how quickly they showed up, though. That was pretty good response time. All right.
What sort of, I guess, like security for the courthouse? They have somebody over at the main courthouse during business hours. I wonder if it would be possible somebody here at our meetings, maybe?
Fire.
All right. I guess my last thing, this email that came, I think I sent it to you guys from Ethan Lawson. It still just kind of bugs me a little bit. Mr. Judy reached out to Ethan Lawson, which confused me about, and had stated that he had been here 3 consecutive months. So I checked back with Mr. Lawson, and I said, did he in fact say that? Because you confirmed that he was on time, basically. Everything was running on time. And Mr. Lawson stated back to me that Mr. Judy stated that he had gone before the body 3 consecutive monthly meetings where a lack of quorum had been an issue. And then I asked that tonight. He stated under oath that that wasn't the case. So obviously, all hearsay, it all happened on the phone, but it just still kind of bothers me. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that this email that I forwarded to you.
Yeah, and that's why we also added that timeline on the staff report because of that, that situation. So on our records, those are the dates of everything that has occurred.
Yeah.
We actually got them in earlier because they would have been pushed.
Yeah, it just
August.
kind of bugged me that I kind of feel like that there was some lack of honesty there that made this planning department look like they weren't doing their jobs. And it's just been bugging me in front of our elected officials. Because that email was copied to, it was from Ethan to Bill Spalding, Gary McDaniel, and Scott Woldridge. And so it just kind of, I don't know.
Sometimes our agenda is full and they get bumped to the next month just because.
They were going to be, but 2 or 3 days.
He was bumped.
We had a withdrawal.
He was bumped to July. So this would have been his first meeting.
Yeah, he was bumped
So he
to
actually
July.
got moved up, so.
So none of us got that email.
Bill Spalding forwarded it to me.
Okay.
So I just checked with Ethan just to
The only reason why I asked, I've gotten a number of emails from him because obviously I live in his district and I've always just deleted them. I was wanting to make sure I didn't accidentally delete that one.
Yeah. I mean, Ethan, I'm guessing, it could have been still some miscommunication there that, because there were people here that had been bumped about 3 months. And so that's why I reconfirmed, but it just, for whatever reason, it just was kind of.
The only interpretation might be that considering in front of the board is us, but also in front of the staff. And technically it was a 3-month time.
Well, he said 3 consecutive months where there was not a quorum.
Oh,
That's
that
what
was
he
the
said.
quote,
And,
okay.
yeah, that's what Ethan told me. So I was like, neither here nor there. The right decision was probably made in the end, but it was just bothersome that they were
Quorum
trying
is
to,
defined
he
as
was
3 though.
kind of making the staff out to not have taken good care of him, and that kind of was bothering me.
Went out of our way
Yeah.
to help them get onto next agenda instead of being pushed to July.
And we don't need to set a special exception for this coming week. We're okay?
No, I think we're good, right? We got everything. That was just in case you weren't able to make it, and yeah.
So I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Actually adjourn this time.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great.
Delivery of all the ballots.
You did a second for the adjournment, correct? I'm gonna go turn off the recording real quick. And,
Me or?
Jason and Mike, that sounds like a morning show.
I know.
I was going to ask that wildlife guy if he ever got involved with chickens.
Why didn't you?
I was trying to